Hey there, welcome back to OwlDragon Adventures. I'm Scott Kegler.
And I'm Rob McPherson.
And today we are here to do a review of the Small Empires collection by Archona Games, designed by Milan Tasevski. I hope I'm saying. So we're going to go through all three games actually in this collection. Bit of a quicker review and how we felt about each game. And
this probably won't be our full 5-point review of each game because that'll take way too much time. But
just some quick reactions to the series, which we have a lot of thoughts about.
Yep.
And how we feel about each game, but also like kind of how we rank the collection as well.
Sure.
It's kind of fun, not knowing if they're going to be adding more or not. Very excited to see from this publisher. Yep. So the first game in the collection is
Small Star Empires. This is the second edition of it. So there was a first edition version of this. So I don't know anything about that one. We just know about the second edition. So this is billed as an area control style game. What's interesting is that on BGG and a couple of other places, they don't note it as an abstract game.
But it feels like an abstract.
It's totally an abstract game. It's a highly thematic abstract game. But it's an abstract game.
And I really enjoy it as that. When you're trying to explain it, it's not going to be this full... I think the name could almost make you think it's going to be this, tiny 4X game. And it's really not that at all. It's a abstract with a fun, kind of mini engine building...
so it's a hex-based system. Mm-hmm. And you're taking your spaceships and you're moving them following movement rules like an abstract, and then claiming spaces, which then gets you victory points at the end. So it's definitely area control, but it's an abstract.
And you get to update your components as you go. It's kind of again, a small, minor, almost engine building thing where you're getting better things because the better things give you better points. And
it's not too much you're not getting better engines or better weapons or anything like that. It's you're getting more ships and you're getting more set collection of area control and things like that. And there's two different ways you can claim spaces. I will say there's some advanced rules that we haven't played with yet. And there's definitely some expansions that we don't own, which... It's a game that stands really well on its own, so I haven't been tempted to get the expansions. I'll probably pick them up at some point, but it stands really well on its own.
Yeah, it gets to the table, and we enjoy it. It's fun. It plays really well. It's a great game. It plays 2 to 4.
Yep,
plays really great at 2. Haven't really played much at 3, but I love it as a 4-player. You're in an abstract mood, and that's why I like it. And it's funny that it doesn't. It's not labeled as an abstract because it's basically, do you want to play a 4-player abstract type game? Which
not many of those really shine
are out there, or it's Blockers. Everyone wants to have Blockers. I'm like, no, this is fun. It's a little different.
Yeah,
I really enjoy this one.
Yeah, this is more of a chess-like abstract rather than a Tetris-y style abstract. So
a lot of fun. So that's Small Star Empires, the first game in the series.
Yeah, so I think that's a solid entry, a solid beginning to this Small Empires collection.
Absolutely. The next game is much crunchier.
Yes.
This is Small Samurai Empires. If you have seen spoilers on where we stand with some of these games, but this game has appeared in both of our top 10 lists.
This game is phenomenal. There's no two ways
and
around
it. It's so disarming. I'll be honest, I picked this up on a whim when I was just at my friendly local game store. Saw it there. The theme, the art, I was like, this looks really fun.
Yep.
I grabbed it. We broke it out to the table. We're like, oh, let's check this out. And we're like, this is amazing. This game is beautiful.
It's an action planning game, but where I think it really shines, because there's a lot of action planning games out there, where it really shines is that it even takes the theme of the samurai culture into how the gameplay happens. So there's a sweep from south to north and a sweep from north to south in terms of how you execute the actions afterwards.
It's very elegant.
Yeah, and it just feels almost like going through a kata.
Yeah. I love this one quite a bit. It's gets to our table more. Obviously it's a top 10 game for both of us at this time.
There is an expansion coming out.
There is an expansion which I backed. I was very excited to. It adds, most important to me, it's solo, so that I can get it to the table even more.
Yeah.
But also just new units and I want to see what it adds to the game. I'm very excited to see.
There's a neoprene mat with it too, right?
Yeah, there's a mat, so obviously I got the map.
It grows the map, right? Like, did they expand it, or is it the same size? I think
it's larger. I believe it's larger than which is one of the
only little thing that we had about it is we wish the map was a little bit bigger, so that because sometimes it's a little comical how many meeples you have in a single territory.
Yeah, but they're gorgeous. Like, I mean, it's pretty hard to see, but there are these custom cut, and each faction has its own custom cut samurai. Yeah. It's fantastic.
Such a good game.
Oh, sorry, is it the wrong way? But it's a very fun game. Plays best at 4.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's 2 to 4 as well.
It's 2 to 4 also. Yep.
But just really great game, action planner. If you like Rising Sun, this is a great game when you want to play that type of...
This is the hour-long Rising Sun.
Basically, yeah. You can just knock out a game very fast, but get the same feel. Maybe not as complex, not as many monsters, but just a lot of fun. So that is the second game in the Small Empires collection.
Yep.
The third game in the Small Empires collection is Small Railroad Empires.
A huge surprise for both of us.
Yeah, so out of curiosity, because we had played Small Star Empires.
Yep.
I fell into this one realizing that it was part of that series. We dove into this one and loved this game.
Yep.
I picked up
as
Small...
a completionist.
As a completionist. I was like, you know what? I'm curious about their railroad game. Thematically, not a big... I don't play a lot of industrial railroad games.
Yeah, it's a railroad pick up and deliver game,
which is typically not my thing at all. I know like big game is like brass. People love the industrial stuff.
Yeah.
Like I liked Furnace, but not always my kind of area theme. And pick up and delivers, I like some, but not a top thing for me. And it sat on my shelf of shame for a bit.
Yep. And then you and your brother,
we played it one night. We're like, you know what? We're gonna just do this, and it was kind of like I could see him kind of like
he messaged me halfway through. He's like, "This is a really good game."
It was so much fun. Again, we were like this is like a great entry game. I was trying to get someone to get into pick up and delivers. Like this game does all of it. It's got a low barrier to entry.
I think part of what makes it so great, honestly, as I think about it, is the fact that as you lay your rails down, it's got that kind of abstracty feel where you're kind of claiming some territory. So it's not just like a Tiny Epic Pirates where it's a pick up deliver where your path that you're taking doesn't really affect anyone else except for in some indirect ways. This directly impacts the board, the lay of the land. And it's really clever. I liked it a lot more than I was expecting to.
Yeah, it surprised me quite a bit. I was like mad at myself for how long it's out on my shelf. And I probably have gotten like 3 or 4 games out of it right now, but I really enjoyed it, and I was not expecting it. Which is always a great surprise, versus the other surprise where you're excited and then you hate the game.
Yep.
It just was fantastic. I like the components a lot. I actually ended up getting some of the other maps because I'm curious to do some of the other scenarios. Very excited for that. Fun addition to the collection. Again, I'm curious what other games they'll be adding. But before we get to that, do you want to talk about your thoughts on where you rank them?
So I'd say as a trilogy, I'd rank this as one of my favorite series.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably going to put Small Star Empires at around and again, this isn't really our 5-point system truly, but it's probably somewhere around a 3.5 to 4. Abstract games are not my favorite things of all time. The theme really helps for me. And it is a fun area control game, but it didn't draw me in as much as I wanted it to. Small Samurai Empires is a 5 out of 5 for me. I don't have to think about it. It is a phenomenal game, great action planning, great thematic tie-in. Very excited for the expansion.
Mm-hmm.
Small Railroad Empire is probably a 4.5 or 5 out of 5, surprisingly. Pick up and delivers I'm okay with. It adds enough ways to do it that just make it so much more interesting. It was a lot of fun, and I'm actually thinking we need to get it to the table soon again.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. I'm about in the same spot. Yeah, I Small Star Empires, I'm going to call it a 3.75 out of 5.
Sure.
I like it. I love abstract games. Typically, abstract games I like kind of one-on-one games, which it plays well. You and I played it the first time one-on-one. It's a really interesting game. I just don't know how often we honestly don't get it to the table that often. We probably should.
We should do a night where we do all 3 of them.
Yeah. Next for me would be Small Railroad Empires. Is 4 out of 5 solid game for me. It might grow as I do have some of the campaign stuff I've been meaning to play.
I'm really excited to look at the new maps and everything.
Which are fantastic addition to a game. I really like that. Doesn't add a lot of complexity. Just goes, here's some really fun themed maps from around the world of railroads. So if you're into that, I think it'd be really fun. 4 out of 5.
Yep.
And I agree. I'm a 5 out of 5 on Small Samurai Empires. For a $40 game, the amount of crunchiness you get out of this you could play just one game in an evening, a couple games in an evening, and you're going to have a blast fighting over territories of, feudal Japan.
Yep.
And it's maybe a little bit, it's medium weight, I would say, but
sure.
I think you're going to want your true gamers in this type of game. I think like non-gamers might not like it as much, but I just absolutely cherish the experience with that game. It's always fun.
Yeah.
Very excited for the new components.
Overall, great series. I'm really hopeful that they keep adding to this series, but at the same time, I'm excited for the expansions that they're adding to the existing games.
Absolutely. So that is the Small Empires Collection by Archona Games. Very happy to play all of them, and they do get to our table quite often. And if you have played them, be curious to know your rankings of the games and your scores. As well as any questions you have about them if you have not.
Actually, a specific question. If you've played any of the expansions for Small Star and you think that would change our opinion on it being the lowest of the 3 ranks, let us know, because I definitely need more reasons to spend money.
Well, that was our experience with the Small Empires Collection, and we wish you good luck on all of your board game adventures.
And thank you for joining us on ours.